But today, you know, the older you get, the more you look behind. And I do sit on a couple of boards. I sit on the Hokule'a with John DeFries. He's the CEO here at Hokule'a. And I sit on the board with Byron Moku, and there's about 20 of us. And then I sit on the board. I used to represent the mayor and with the Kaloko Honokahau. But the reasons for me getting involved is bringing attention to burials and putting it in perspective for the future, and giving and honoring them as such. That was their form of burial. Give me a break, you know. Today in Waikiki, you have that mass burial. That's beautiful. You're honoring the iwi there. In Maui at the Ritz-Carlton, my God, over 1,000. You know, so this is what I'm trying to do, but it's very, very important is to accumulate our iwi within the ahapua'as and give them a proper burial. I mean, that would have happened in past days. I mean, where else could they didn't think of sea burials. They didn't, you know what I mean? Everything was in the land, sometimes underneath the hut, yeah, or the house. So they know why I sit on that board in there, but there is some legal strategy when those two were after Hokule'a for a couple of years or something about some of the burials it's governed by. But there's quite a number of ancestors that own land in there. Yeah, quite a bit that sit on the board, sit on our board. Looking at where these bones are buried it was like part of their life. If somebody died, you just bury them next door or bury them, you know, for a few feet from where they live or something like that. I don't think it was mandatory for them to be inexact, you know. I don't think they had that mentality. And so they buried them wherever they were able to cover them up or whatever the situation may be. And so, of course, with all the development going on, especially this one over here, hello, anything along the coast here, you know, they're burials, because this is where they all lived. And then the difference between, like when you see Herb Connie's depiction of the connection between water and land and that's where they did their exchanges, you know, the fish and the fresh vegetables and things like that, and the poi. But I mean, I believe that the concept was they buried them close to where they lived. You know, and maybe that was one way to malama the bones, you know, and we don't know. Maybe they had their offerings that they did or whatever they needed to do, but I don't know the exact. I mean, maybe somebody else could, you know, expand on this, but I just think it was that was the norm of those years. If somebody died, it's not like today, you know, you got to put them in a graveyard or you got to do this, or, you know, and all of these things that we have to go through. And a lot of the things that we go through is, of course, was created for certain reasons, you know.